All right, guys, Adam here, and with Paul, we're outside the Hawthorns at United Rancaster. Paul, 2-1 today. First half, great. Second half, not so.
Yeah, first half good, second half not so good. That was, I actually got a bit of stick on Twitter for saying I thought we were really good in the first half, but I thought we were really good in the first half. Somebody said, call 2 shots on target really good. And I'm like, call 2 goals really good. And a lot of our build-up play was decent, especially without Pogba in the side, when we usually look so deeply average, you know. And so, without Pogba in the side, I will take being 2-0 up at half-time for sure.
The goals were decent as well. I know Jesse Lingard's took a deflection.
Yeah.
It was on target though,
Good
so
on
it's Jesse
Jesse
Lingard's goal. But Lukaku got another goal, didn't really celebrate.
Yeah.
A lot of moans about him not celebrating, but I understand why he's not celebrating.
I mean, all right, so first off, he comes to United, he's in absolutely flying form, gets a racist chant. Good job, lads. Then that goes away, which fair play. People have kind of dropped it because the player himself said he didn't like it. So, I mean, he was very polite about it, but he said he didn't like it, and people moved on, which is brilliant. Then he hit a dip in form. Everyone's like on his back intensely, and it's so unnecessary. Strikers go through patches in form. That is 3 and 4 for Lukaku, by the way. And there's clearly an issue around Lukaku's performances in big games. If you look back at the whole history of his career, this is the big knock against him before we signed him. But I think 2 things about that. One, I think United collectively have been absolutely dreadful in all the big games this season, and in a way which very specifically plays against Lukaku's strengths. So I almost feel like we can't even really just put this as part of the continued narrative that Lukaku doesn't do it in big games, although we'll see that may continue to be the case. But the other thing about it is it's extremely important to have a striker who will do the business in the less big games. Like, we've got to beat all these other teams, and last season we drew against most of them. Okay, we won 2-0 here, 2 Zlatan goals, but how many chances did Zlatan miss last season? And no one really got on his back in a big way like that. So, you know,
I agree with you there as well, because he's like come in, scored today, and I just feel like you mentioned that the performances of the team haven't helped him. Against Manchester City, he missed a sitter that he should have scored. But that was his only chance in that whole game. And it's like, if you're creating 1 chance a game for your striker at home, you can't criticise when he misses that and he's snatching at it.
No, I mean, it's something that Van Gaal said after almost every game, like, well, if we've taken our chances, and it's like, you mean chance, singular, you know. And I feel a little bit like that about Lukaku, but he's back in some form now. 3 and 4, 2 and 2, and 2 headers. The other thing, of course, is we're a team that doesn't really have a lot of crosses in the team. In fact, Lukaku is one of the better crossers in the team, funnily enough. So that means that there's an angle of service he's not getting. By the way, I'm not saying...
Valencia got injured as well today, so probably less of a service now.
I mean, are you calling Valencia a crosser?
No, but he helps us get down that wide area, get the ball to the people that are going to cross.
Yeah, and occasionally when he's in form, he finds a good cross or 2 in a game as well.
One time in 2014.
Yeah, it was good though, wasn't it? No, not 2014.
No, 13?
So, you know, I'm not saying Lukaku's had a Van Persie-esque impact on United, because obviously he hasn't. I think he scored 15 already this season. I just think we have a problem as a culture, not just United fans, but the broader culture of reacting too quickly to events.
Same with Lindelof. He went from being the flop of the season to the Iceman, apparently.
Yeah, and you know, some of it is just the kind of silliness of the internet, but it's not just the internet, it's not just Twitter fans, whatever that means. It's in the ground too. You can hear the grumbles about Lukaku, and obviously I'm not talking about the away support, which is a different thing altogether, but I haven't felt comfortable really with the way we as a collective have responded to Lukaku. And you know, like I said, I think he's had, when you take the season as a whole so far, he's a net positive for United, and I think there's clearly more to come.
All right, so I know what this video is. This video, Ram, is a message to you. We got you. We love you. Keep banging goals. Don't worry about the haters.
No, absolutely. And, you know, me and you have talked a lot about Jesse Lingard and, you know, the players that get a lot of stick. And it's not like defending them removes all the legitimate criticism, because from an analytical perspective you could say actually Lukaku's had an extended period of poor form this season. From an analytical perspective you can also say there have been games in which Jesse Lingard has really struggled and looked poor, but he's in excellent form playing in that number 10 role.
As many goals and assists as Mane, Sanchez, Firmino and Hazard this season in the league.
Yeah, and you know that's
basically he's the best in the world.
yeah. I was going to say that. Those kind of stats are fun, but they don't really mean anything. You know, there are moments when Lingard goes to play a simple pass and overhits it, and it is frustrating. So to kind of defend the players is not to sort of say they're brilliant in every possible way, because they're not. Like this team is clearly still a work in progress, and I think we're 8 points ahead of where we were the same time last year. I haven't looked at the comparison fixture by fixture, but I'm pretty sure we've gained a lot of points on what
we have in a lot of games like West Ham, Swansea, where we didn't win last season and we won this season. And
exactly, and you know, we're going to probably finish second. That's probably what's going to happen. It's going to have to go unbelievably well for us and terribly for City for it to be.
Well, you say, do you think it's over? And we saw the part of the bus stuff today. You tweeted the video and that. What do you make of that?
I mean, do I think it's over? It's football, so anything can happen, as they say. But I mean, you know,
I don't give up, and I won't give up till May.
Right, well, that's what Jose said, and you know, fine. That's nor will I. Like, a little piece of my heart will have a flame which is alive. But do I actually think that this Manchester City side are going to completely capitulate? And crucially, we're also going to hit the level of consistency and win those big games where Mourinho really does bite the bus. You mentioned the chant. I loved it. Like, I was proper buzzing when United started singing that, because obviously in the old days, you might remember this, teams would sing "Who the F of Man United," and we took that on as our chant, and it's quite funny that we've taken this on as our chant. Of course, it's a bit less fun, because I do have a genuine problem with the way Mourinho's approached big games this season, so it's less funny in that regard. But this one, it really hurt when the City fans sang that, and I think it hurt the players, and I think it's a brilliant way to puncture the tension around it, especially the City fans doing it in their dressing room and all that. It's a brilliant way to puncture the tension for our...
That's what makes me think we've still got a chance. Them lot singing, confetti, they think they've won it, and that's the only thing that can stop them, I think.
The thing is, I feel like this is not the forum to have this conversation, but the problem is Pep Guardiola has a long history of managing the best team in the league he's in and guiding them through the dangers of complacency. So he's got a lot of experience of being in this position and it ending well for him. So that's one of the reasons why. Plus that, you know, who cares? Like, they're a good side. Fine. It's fine. Sometimes you're the second best team in the league. Like, we were the best team in the league most of the time, and right now we're not, and that's fine. Like, so long as we're moving towards it, we're building on our strengths. Mourinho is approaching the job with a kind of a positive mindset and a view that he can still improve this side, and not just in the transfer market, but improve the quality of performances. Then I'm not really worried about the kind of long-term picture of it. And one of the reasons I'm not worried about the long-term picture of it is because we've been drenched in success for decades, and if it is to be that Alex Ferguson's departure marked a kind of watershed moment in the history of this club for the medium term, then okay, well, I won't be happy about that, but I will live with it, because we've seen such riches. So in fact, we can live with being poor.
Very, very true, but it's still not over yet.